In the last 5 to 10 years, we have seen tremendous growth in the cloud industry. However, as the cloud acceleration scaled, more and more new use cases emerged. Can you briefly explain to our audience what is super cloud?
That's a very good question, Faisal. Super cloud, that's a very recent term which has been coined by some analysts.
So, what is the added value of security you are offering?
Security is at different layers. When you deploy your applications or when you deploy your network. I was expecting this AI question coming from you because, as you said, like nowadays, nothing is complete without discussion on AI.
Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to your own Silicon Valley Tech Talks channel. This is your host Faisal Wattu from San Jose, California. In the last 5 to 10 years, we have seen tremendous growth in the cloud industry. Customers see many benefits with cloud adoption, including reduced cost, agility, and ease in global expansion. However, as the cloud acceleration scaled, more and more new use cases emerged. For example, customers wanted to connect their remote locations in many different regions to this same public cloud. Some customers wanted to distribute their workloads across different public clouds. At the same time, customers wanted a simpler and agile approach to solve for these problems. Fortunately, cloud networking was there to help. Cloud networking is the topic of our show today. We are fortunate to have Atif Khan as our guest today. Atif is co-founder and chief technology officer at Alkira. Alkira is one of the most promising startups in Silicon Valley today. They are one of the pioneers of cloud networking, especially multi-cloud space. Before Alkira, Atif held executive roles at Cisco, Webdala, and Huawei. We'll learn from Atif the opportunities and trends in cloud networking. So without any further delay, let's go and talk to Atif. Hello Atif, welcome to our show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Faisal. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Awesome. First of all, congratulations on $100 million Series C funding you recently completed. I think it's a validation of great work which you and team are doing. Tell us a little bit about the focus areas of Alkira going forward and how does the trajectory look like?
Well, thanks, Faisal. It's a great accomplishment from our side, and we are very excited to be at this stage of our journey. I'll give you a little bit of the background and then get into more details. So we started this company 6 years ago, and this is our third round of funding. So yeah, it's a great achievement from our perspective. We have come a long ways in the last 6 years. We have many customers now. We are growing very rapidly. And customers have deployed our platform at scale globally. So just to give your audience just a quick intro of what we do, we have built on-demand networking infrastructure which is available globally, which people can use to deploy or build their networks. They don't have to worry about network infrastructure being available, so they consume it as a service, and then they build their network on top with security, and they have to secure all of it, and visibility and monitoring layer on top of it to have all the day two operations capabilities available to them. So as far as like raising the money, you know. It's a great feeling to have been able to raise this much money in this environment. As you know, the investment market is tight these days, so it shows that we have customers and we are growing from as far as the customer base is concerned. We are growing as far as our revenue is concerned. So we will be using this money to scale the company, especially the go-to-market functions of the company. We think that we are at the right spot now to scale it to the next level. So we'll be investing in go-to-market functions, marketing especially, also R&D as well, because as you know, there's always more stuff to do. There's always enhancements that you need to do in your product. So we'll be building a ton of stuff going forward. So we'll be using all of that money for that.
Thank you, Adit. Uh, in many of your press releases and previous discussions, we have heard the term super cloud. Can you briefly explain to our audience what is super cloud? Is it a different name for multi cloud? And how are you uniquely positioned to provide a solution for it?
That's a very good question, Faisal. Supercloud, that's a very recent term which has been coined by some analysts. Basically, I think what they mean by supercloud is having a common infrastructure, networking infrastructure across or network or infrastructure across multiple clouds. Um, I wouldn't say it's multi-cloud, because multi-cloud is like, if you're from an enterprise's perspective, if you're consuming or if you're using multiple clouds, you are multi-cloud, or you are into multi-cloud. Super cloud is more like having a common infrastructure across clouds. From our perspective, from the networking perspective, the way I see it is, we are able to help customers deploy common networking infrastructure across clouds. So now, you know that in each public cloud, networking is done differently. They have different constructs. So from our perspective, we can deploy our infrastructure, common infrastructure across clouds, and from our customers' point of view, they get to have one virtual network or common network across clouds, where if they have to onboard applications or if they have to onboard users, it's one way of doing networking across multiple clouds. So it's a layer on top of multiple clouds. And from our perspective, it's not just public clouds; it's private clouds as well. So you can have one common infrastructure across public, across private clouds as well.
Another term we have commonly heard from Alkira is extranet as a service. And I think Alkira is positioning itself as a good solution provider for that use case. Can you tell us a little bit about what that use case is, why it's important, and how are you solving for it?
Sure, absolutely. So, since we have built this networking infrastructure, right? It's on-demand networking infrastructure which we provide. Um, so, one of the primary use cases, obviously, is the cloud networking use case, and there are many other use cases which we help customers solve. One of them is extranet use case, and extranet is nothing new. It's been around for many years. Meaning, mainly what it is when as an enterprise, in many cases you have many partners, and those partners need to have access to some resources within your environment or within your network. So you onboard those networks selective, or those partners selectively onto your network, and securely as well. And especially, this is a very common use case in financials. It's not limited to financials, but a common use case in financials, where they have like hundreds or thousands of partners across the globe. And what they've been doing is, they bring connectivity from the partners in a secure fashion into their network. They may terminate their partner connectivity on some devices in their DMZ, where they have the security appliances, all of that stuff sitting, and then they selectively provide access to the resources which the partner needs out of their network. So in many cases, with traditional way of doing this, it takes like a long time for these, especially these financials, to onboard these partners, because many times they have to provision the private connectivity to a partner. Sometimes they have to send like a CPE device also, which they manage, and then all the selective route leaking and select access to the resources. If there are multiple partners with overlapping IP addresses, that becomes an issue. So that takes a long time for them to provision. So all of that takes time. So what we have done is we have allowed our customers to leverage our on-demand networking infrastructure to uh, offer this extranet connectivity to their partners as a service, where it's an on-demand networking platform, so they can bring up this networking platform anywhere across the globe. They can instantly onboard these customers over private connectivity or public connectivity into our platform, and we secure it. We take care of all the networking underlying infrastructure, so customers don't have to ship any devices, or they don't have to provision this private connectivity, which takes a long time to provision. We provide the infrastructure. We take care of all the overlapping addresses, network address translation, security as well. So the infrastructure is very agile, so they are able to onboard these partners in a very, very short time. So we have like many customers, especially financials, who are able to onboard multiple partners a week instead of one partner in a month or several months. So the agility is we basically since it's as a service, so agility is I would say this is like what customers have been looking for from the network perspective. They don't have to deploy any of the infrastructure themselves because it's as a service, and they can consume this as a service using our platform.
Very interesting. Atif, you briefly mentioned about security. I know that Alkira's promise is common cloud infrastructure with integrated security and networking services. But we also know that AWS, Azure, GCP, they are also quite big on security. They are also promising security features and stuff. So, what is the added value of security you are offering? Why is that needed?
Sure, great question, Faisal. So, security is at different layers. When you deploy your applications or when you deploy your network. So, security there's security at the network layer. There's the security at like the application layer. So there's security at different layers. So we are since we are providing a networking platform, networking infrastructure which is available as a service. So we are focused on the network. So our focus is networking is in this day and age is not just about connecting, let's say, point A to point B. It's also you have to secure it as well. So security has to be integrated inside of the network. So all of that stuff, which we do from the network perspective, we make sure that it's secure also. Now the cloud providers also have networking solutions as well, and they provide like networking layer security as well. Uh, but ours is like one common infrastructure across multiple clouds. Customers don't have to completely rely on the cloud providers networking infrastructure, and they can build like a networking layer on top of it, a virtual networking layer on top of it. So we secure it from that perspective. And in many cases, like we might be using cloud provider security underneath to secure the network also, because we are also leveraging the cloud providers infrastructure to build our infrastructure on top of it. So it goes sometimes it goes hand in hand. Sometimes it depends on the use case. Sometimes it also depends on what layer you're trying to secure. But from a network layer perspective, we are focused on the network. So we make sure that customers secure their network inside the cloud the same way they're used to securing their networks everywhere else.
How much dependency you have on the underneath cloud infrastructure in building your solution? And let me ask you a question very specifically. Let's say tomorrow AWS, Azure, GCP change their protocols or change their features. Uh, do your customers have to revamp the networking solution altogether, or it's transparent to the underneath changes?
So, great question again. Our customers, it's transparent. It's not visible to our customers, right? we have some dependencies, but we have built our platform in such a way where it's agnostic of the underlying infrastructure. So whether we run it inside of public clouds or if we run it outside of the public clouds, we can do it. So it's dependent, but at the same time it's not completely dependent. So and from our customer's point of view, it's an abstraction layer as well. So we abstract all of that from the customer. So customer doesn't need to if let's say AWS decides to change some networking construct, or some networking constructs a construct becomes end of life, or they stop supporting it, so they don't have to worry about it. So we have all the mechanisms and the infrastructure and the expertise and the capabilities where it's all abstracted from the customer. And also the way we have built our networking infrastructure, or this platform, it's very resilient, reliable, horizontally scalable. There is no single point of failure anywhere in this platform, because when you're offering this infrastructure as a service, or network infrastructure as a service, you have to make sure that it's always available. There's complete resiliency and reliability and high availability built into the platform. So we have taken care of all of that stuff. We abstract like all these complexities and dependencies from the customer, and make sure that the customers are not impacted, even if there's, like, let's say, there's an outage somewhere inside of a cloud provider's network, or whatnot. So it's all resilient, highly available, and reliable infrastructure, which we have with disaster recovery and all of that, built into the platform.
It's nearly impossible that it's a Silicon Valley Tech Talks show and we don't talk about AI. So I would like to learn from what are the applications of AI in cloud networking and the work you are doing. Because as I understand, networking in general is mission critical. Like a small error can bring the whole network down. On the other hand, AI is about prediction, and prediction can go wrong, right? So from that point of view, they are contradictory to each other. So how do you see AI playing a role in cloud networking?
So I was expecting this AI question coming from you, because, as you said, like nowadays, nothing is complete without discussion on AI. So AI absolutely plays like a key role going forward. It will impact like every aspect of networking, all the IT solutions. In fact, AI is influencing or impacting all technology, right, going forward. So same is the case with networking and networking platforms also. So there are multiple use cases, multiple ways it's going to impact, it's going to have influence. One is primarily from just the network operations perspective. So it can make your network operations much more efficient, be it operations from if something goes wrong, doing a root cause analysis. It can help you with that. There are tools out there, AI based tools, which help you with that. It can also help with network automation as well. It can generate like code for people to automate these configuration management, or just automation of networks and deployment of these networks. So it can help with efficiencies in all these areas very well. And also, like, it can go as far as, like, there it can detect uh, um, uh, like security breaches from happening, or potential security breaches or security threats, and also can recommend like the security policies which you can deploy. So a lot of it goes around network operations. So right now, one of the major use cases is network operations from the networking perspective. So that's like one side of it. Then also, like, AI infrastructure now is being deployed at massive scale across the globe. So that also means that now you have to have a network which is able to accommodate the growth of all this AI infrastructure which is being deployed all across the globe. So network plays a key role from that perspective. It again comes down to the basics. It needs to be agile. It needs to be secure, because there are new security use cases which come up then you have so many sources, and your data is everywhere, and your LLMs are also deployed around everywhere. So you have to secure all of that stuff. You have to make sure the segmentation is there, isolation is there. So network plays a great big role. Then network operations is impacted big time. So there's going to be a lot of development, a lot of enhancements when it comes to AI for networking, and AI for uh, all these use cases as well.
Thank you very much, Atif, for your time. I'm sure our audience learned a lot from your insights.
Thank you very much, Faisal. It was great to be here with you, and thanks for inviting me.
So, thank you.